Welcome to Court Explainer. We are a bit slow this time. Why? Because this is the question of land. We are more detailed, more graphical, because we want you to understand the question about land. Our Court Explainer today is on the question, how do you transfer land? How do you sell land? The question about sale agreement. What is required in a land sale agreement? Is it different from a contract? Is it different from a lease agreement? 2, how do you know whether this person is the owner of the land? 3, your mother had land. Your father had land. They died without telling you that they own land. How do you know? Yes, you Gen Zs. You went to school from nursery, you have been busy in school. You have finished university, you have gotten a job. You have never had an interest of land. Then all of a sudden, you are told by your uncles when your parents have died that your father or your so-and-so bought land. How will you get that information about land? First answer, the government of Kenya is digitalizing the land registry. All details about land and all details are going to be captured in the platform called AdhiSasa. In the AdhiSasa platform, 1, you can check just like the logbook. All you need is the vehicle registration number and you put it on the web or the name of the owner of the vehicle. You will get the details digitally. Just like the marriage, how do you know that somebody is married? We did that episode. You need to do a search at the Registrar of Marriages. Now, under the lands registry, you can do a search to know whether your father or your mother or Omari or anybody owned that land. So the data bank is now digital. So the question about whether somebody owns the land, as they walk and telling you they have land, just check from the details digitally from the website of the Ministry of Lands. Now, we have confirmed this person has the land, and the question that now is, how do you transfer this land to anybody else? The first thing, there must be a sale agreement. The sale agreement, there is no land that can be transferred without a written sale agreement. So you cannot sell land, oral agreement. Wenipe 10,000, wenipe 10,000. You must have a written sale agreement. The particulars that are very critical is the parties must be explained. Who is the buyer and who is the seller? The details of the buyer, the name, the ID number, the PIN number, the telephone number must be there for both. Number 2, what land is being sold? The proper description of that land must be captured. The LR number, if it is IR number, all those details. The acreage you are buying, is it a 50 by 50? Is it 3 acres? Is it 2 acres? 4th, how much have you agreed? The actual amount for sale must be put there. Next, how much is going to be paid upfront upon signing of that agreement? That must be captured there. How much has been received? That must be captured there. What is the mode of payment for the balance? So it must be said, balance is this and it will be cleared within this time. The mode of transmitting that money, is it you must disclose your bank account whether the money is going to go to an advocate's account, or it is going to go to the buyer's account, or it is going to go to the seller's account. Those details are very, very, very critical. Then any other terms that you have agreed, for example, are you buying land plus the house that is there? That must be captured. Are you buying land plus the trees that are there? Or the owner will carry the trees plus what is available there. So the permanent fixtures that are there, the agreement must talk about it. The easements, which we said, a road for water, for people to be there, that agreement must be completely done with it. Once that agreement has been complete, there are two ways. The buyer and the seller can have one advocate drafting them these documents. But my advice, it is advisable to have each, the buyer and the seller, different advocates. If a dispute arises, the advocate who did this matter for you and for her, for the buyer and the seller, who will the advocate be standing to defend? My advice from Court Helicopter, have your own advocate. After this document called agreement has been done, then the seller must sign that document in the presence of an advocate to witness that. Then there must be a witness. You, the seller, you must bring your witness. The witness must be above 18 years. They have an ID. The signature signing must be in front of a commissioner of oath. So if you get a document being brought to your office or to where you are selling in Mutumba, that you sell this agreement, sign this agreement for sale of land, that is not a signed sale of land. The buyer equally must produce a witness, and the document must be signed in the presence of a commissioner of oath. The commissioner of oath or the advocate must do a certificate. A certificate is saying, I myself, Wakili Danston Omari, of this practicing number, I saw Cyrus Kimanga sign in this land sale agreement on this date in my office on this particular date. The other advocate called Shadrach Wamboi must see Vivian signing the same document that with her witness, and this Shadrach Wamboi will put a signature that you sign. So the people in the diaspora, you normally do to sign sale agreements in your bedroom, in your house, in the US. That is not a sale agreement. It must be witnessed. Your signature, just like the signature of a will, must be witnessed or attested to by an advocate or a commissioner of oath. That document now, we move to the next issue. That document, once it has been written and signed in writing, the document is now ready for registration. What is called, it must be registered at the lands office. A sale agreement that is not registered at the lands office is a paper. You must register and pay for it. So ask your advocate, is the instrument that was attested to, you signed, having been registered and stamped at the registrar of lands? Number two, these are the documents after you have sold, you have signed your signature, the buyer and the seller, the following documents must accompany the sale agreement to the registrar of lands. 1. A copy of an identity card or a passport. A copy of an identity card or a passport of the buyer and the seller. Number 2, a copy of a personal identification number certificate from KRA for both the buyer and for both the seller. 3, passport size photographs properly taken. Passport photographs of the buyer and the seller. My friend, you must produce the latest photos, passports. Don't bring the passports when you are in Form 1. Or don't bring passports when you are wearing a cape or when you are wearing a mask. The passports are authorized and the measurements are provided for of that passport. 4th, where applicable, a marriage certificate. If you are married, you must produce a marriage certificate. I know most people will ask, why will I produce a marriage certificate? The reason is simple. The day one of you will want to sell that land, there must be a spousal consent. The person you declared to be your spouse, the registrar will ask for her consent. So women, listen very carefully. When you are buying, your husband is buying land, insist you attach your marriage certificate there so that a side chick, a concubine, a lady on the street is not presented before the registrar that this is the wife and she has given a spousal consent. This is mandatory because under this law, a married couple cannot sell land without the consent of the spouse. The spouse does not only mean a wife, the spouse also means a husband. So if the lady you want to buy your land, the consent of your husband is mandatory. It goes on to say, if it is a company, a copy of the certificate of incorporation. If it is a company, you must produce the certificate of incorporation and such other documents that they can go or the registrar can demand. First stage, the sale agreement. 2, now we have presented these things to the registrar of lands. The third issue is verification. Subject to, this is section 45. The registrar can demand you to appear before him or a public officer or another person as prescribed and be accompanied by credible witnesses for the purpose of establishing the identity unless the person is known to the registrar or a public officer or another person. So these documents, when they reach there, the registrar will demand to see you. And he might demand you go before a district officer, a magistrate, or another public officer to verify whether it is you. Remember, nowadays we have AI people. We have robots pretending to be human beings. So they will sign documents. The registrar must be satisfied that you are not a dummy guy, you are not an AI-generated robot. You must come in person and you come with a person who knows you, especially spouses. Umari will walk with anybody there and say, no, this is my wife. The marriage certificate reads Mary Wamboi, but the certificate does not read that. So the registrar can demand you come with somebody or you go elsewhere for what is called verification. If the verification is not required, the registrar will proceed. If the registration is the verification goes through, then section 46, mark now, this is when the registrar accepts your documents. Section 46 says it is called stamping. What does it? Is it an instrument required by law to be stamped shall not be accepted for registration unless it is stamped in accordance with the stamp duty. Stamp duty. What does the stamp duty mean? When you sell land, every time you sell land, any commercial land that you sell, you must pay 4% of the value of that land to KRA, what is called stamp duty. 4%. So if you are buying land worth 40 million shillings, you must pay the Kenya government a stamp duty of 4%. That will be 4 million shillings. I'm not a very good mathematician. 4%. If you are buying a agricultural land is land outside towns, farming land in the villages, pale Makueni, pale Bunyore, pale Wapi, you must pay 2% to Kenya Revenue Authority. Until you pay the stamp duty, the registrar will not take your documents. So the American people, when you buy land, have you ever asked the people who are selling you land, the brokers, the lawyers, the transactional people, to send you a receipt of the stamp duty paid? If you didn't pay stamp duty, you have lost. Most Americans, most diaspora people don't pay, they are cheated, and they don't have receipts of stamp duty. In court, Wakili Omari will only ask you one question: show evidence that you paid stamp duty to the Kenya Government Authority, KRA. If you fail, then you never bought the land. That is very explosive. I think we need a bottle of water to cool the fire that has come from that revelation. It's not me. It's not Court Helicopter. It is the law. Wakili Danstan Omari dealing with registration of your documents for the purpose of bringing out a title deed. Thank you. Keep watching, keep following Court Helicopter as it brings you real-time issues about land. See you in the last episode of the Land Registration Act. Thank you very much.